Well, welcome back to Pirates Cove, here at the Music Room. And today we're going to discuss Darker Waters. We'll talk a little bit about that song and how it affects the White Pirate story. So let's just get right into it. Let's start first about the ghost ship. There are several ways that the ghost ship can come to pass, and the most prominent one being that somehow or another the crew leaves the ship, or it wrecks, or it goes ashore and the men never come back, or something happens out on the high water out there where something mysterious or mischievous happens to the crew. At any rate, leaves the ship abandoned, and there were several, whether it could be diseases and that kind of thing, which was what scared the crap out of most of the pirates as they come across an empty ship, and there'd be things there, belongings and such, that were left behind to the crew, with no sign of the crew whatsoever. So anyway, when we last talked, we talked about the White Pirate having money, somehow coming across a fairly large sum of money, silver and or gold. We think that that money came from, somehow was connected with the Spanish that were taking their money out of the Continental and moving it back to Spain. Spain was starting to get in some dire straits financially, and somehow the White Pirate got a hold of some of this money. It doesn't sound good for like the original owner, because it said he's buried him down about 6 feet deep. So anyway, what happens next in our storyline is that we find the White Pirate on a ghost ship. So somehow or another, he gets control of a ship, hires a crew, and we know that he's in charge, at least in part, because it says the first mate woke me and I blinked my eyes. So the first mate is answering to him. So somehow he has a position of authority over this ship. And he talks about sailing on a ghost ship. And what introduces us to that fact is that he talks about dances with a grace that flows like water. And somehow he is looking at a female that has appeared on the ship. And she dances or vanishes through a mirror, I believe is the word. And the first mate wakes me and I blink my eyes. So he's had a glimpse of something supernatural on this ship. And this is the introduction of Siren, the female spirit. Sirens were usually women or female type spirits that were out amongst the rocks that would lead sailors into those rocks and into a certain death, but they would entice them with their voices and their singing and their beautiful bodies. So somehow or another, this particular siren appears on the ghost ship and catches the White Pirate's eye. So it says in the song that he goes topside to clear his head. He's 10 days out. We know that they left from somewhere around the Gulf Coast from his song, The Rich Man's Money. Living real high on the Emerald Coast were the words. So we know he's somewhere there. And this is in the territory of Billy Bowlegs, John Lafitte, and John Rackham, who were pirates of the day in the early 1700s. So he is hanging with some pretty tough folks in the pirate lore realm, and who were actual characters that really did exist. So the next thing that happens that I wanted to talk about was that along with this spirit is they captured a slave ship. Now slave ships posed a unique problem. You could plunder them pretty well because they've always had gold and money transactions, and they had a boatload of slaves. And pirates hated slavery because it went against everything they believed in as far as freedom and freedom for a man to make his own decisions. It just went contrary to anything that a pirate would think of. Now, the White Pirate sailing out of Liverpool, England, would have been familiar with the slave trade at that time. And, it's obvious that it sticks in his guts because it shows up in these songs. So they capture the slave ship, and they hang the captain and keel haul the first mate. And then, this is really tough, but this was a tough time. It said that they took half the treasure, split it with the slaves, and left them with a good compass, and left them to their own fate. Now, that's pretty rough because you don't know if they're able to figure their way out, but they're not so far. They're 10 days out. So they're probably out of one of the Caribbean states that were dealing with slaves, and hopefully there was somebody on board that knew enough to which way to go, or the white pirate and their crew told them which way to go, but it's left unanswered. And so, but you have a sentiment at least of what the white pirates and their crew felt like in the condition of slavery, and so it makes them, where they feel like they have a right to intervene into the progress of things, but they don't have the right to tell people what to do. And that's pretty typical of pirates of the day. So next we get to the song a little bit, and of course, this is the first song in the White Pirates series that's a pretty hard rock song, and they do a pretty good job of it. And I found it pretty entertaining, and I hope you do too. We will next take a look at Sailing Clear, I believe, is the next one up in our lineup. And we'll take a look at Sailing Clear and Heading for Jamaica and Good Times and that kind of thing, as was the pirates' plan, and living the good life and having a good time out in the Gulf Coast and in the Caribbean Sea. And we'll just go from there. I would like to remind you to spend a little time watching this. Be sure you click the subscribe button and the like and comment, because that way I have an idea and know how well we're doing out there. So in the meantime, the White Pirate sends his regards. Remember, save yourself, save your shipmate, save the ship. All right, all the best, mate. We'll see you next time. Bye.